So the introduction of Mecha made us question who is this new character who had a bunker full of supercars, a plane full of product but no soldiers. Who does he have connections to past and present? What's his history and why did he come back to New York? But as we move through Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2, they answered these questions along with building up Mecha's character to be someone who seemed formidable, strong, and someone who looked like he had Monet and the Tejadas exactly where he wanted them, with the use of manipulation, control, and seduction. But they really did build up Mecha's character only to tear him down in the space of one scene.
You had it on some of the biggest heads in the game. Arms dealers, cartel bosses, freedom fighters. I mean, what can I say? You're like the GOAT of global snitching.
But the question I still think we need to ask is, was Mecha's character a missed opportunity for the world of Ghost? Because after all, this was someone who connected many dots back to the original Power with Felipe Lobos, Ghost, and Tommy. And especially with the Power universe set to collide, Mecha could have been one of the reasons why Ghost and Force crossed paths. But with Mecha now dead, another angle we're gonna look at is the introduction of Mahoney. Because Mecha's death really does pave the way for a new player to be introduced. But let's start with Mecha, which will lead us on to Mahoney. Now, when we were introduced to Mecha, he was someone who had a deep history with Monet, similar to how Ghost did with Angela, and he was back to try and repair his relationship with Nene Stewart, and what gave them this connection was Zeke. But this was complicated in so many ways, because she was married to Lorenzo with 3 kids. She also lied about having Zeke, pretending he was her nephew, not her son. So we saw Mecha playing this game of chess which started with Kane and then Monet. Now with Kane, he used him to find out certain details about the Tejadas by always asking him the right questions, and effectively using him as the inside man, with his double identity because he only knew him as Mecha, not Dante Spears, and if they did get close to uncovering the truth or spoke about Mecha's past, then he'd kill them exactly like he did with Nuff and the chef. But effectively Kane was used as a pawn on his chessboard, because he quickly realized he was someone who could easily be manipulated and mentored, because he was looking to create his own destiny, and he's someone who'd be loyal to the person who gave him this big break he was looking for. And then on the other side there was this manipulation and seduction of Monet Tejada as Dante Spears, and he was trying to win her over using past signals they used when they were kids, playing their favorite songs, this helicopter ride, and having a trust fund set up for her, along with Kane, Drew, Diana, and Zeke. And this was something Monet eventually fell for, because she wanted out of the game, and Mecha was giving her a way out. And in essence, Mecha was able to provide her with something Lorenzo couldn't. He also played the perfect move by having Monet and Zeke believe they needed him for protection, because he was the one who set up this drive-by by giving it this signal, which he blamed on Lorenzo. On top of this, he was the one who leaked Zeke's age to the press. So Mecha was someone who was very cunning, clever, manipulative, and someone who was playing a deep game of chess, something which was lacking in Season 1. But most importantly, Mecha was someone who was able to connect the dots back to the original Power, which was thanks to being Blanca Rodriguez's informant.
You see, I know a lot about you, man. I know about your uncle, Tommy. I know about your dad, Ghost.
So there are very few people who can connect the dots back to the original Power, who know everything, and in fact, there's only a few. Tamika, Sax, and Blanca Rodriguez are only a few who know a lot when it comes to the history of the St. Patrick's, which is why it's always good to have them around in the world of Ghost, because it really does cause this conflict for Tariq. But the introduction of Mecha really did exploit a small plot hole in Power, which they could have done more with. So let's have a look at the angle of crossovers between Force and Ghost. Now it has been teased that Tariq will eventually need Uncle Tommy's help at some point in the future, and with the way they've teased a crossover at the end of Power Book 4 Force, Season 1, with Blanca Rodriguez connecting the dots to the Serbian network, Mecha was also someone who could have connected the dots to Chicago and Force as well. Which brings me back to the clip I played for you, so let's not forget, Mecha said he knew Ghost and Tommy. And with what he did to Felipe Lobos, Tommy was indirectly affected by Mecha snitching on Lobos and his organization. Now, Mecha's actions meant Ghost and Tommy were forced to take on more product than they could handle, and now New York was Felipe Lobos' main base. Although Tommy was always down to expand and grow, this really did put a strain on his and Ghost's operation, as well as relationship, which wasn't held by Kanan. And who knows what could have been if Mecha never snitched, because the task force may never have been formed, and Angela may never have walked through truth. But Mecha being this snitch that connected the dots back to Ghost and Tommy in power could have been one way to bring Tommy back to New York, because we all know Tommy hates snitches, and this could have been explored with Tommy helping Tariq to get rid of Mecha. Now, Tariq has had a lot of mentors in the past, present, and no doubt he's gonna have even more in the future. But did they miss a trick in Mecha being a somewhat mentor to Tariq? Because I believe Mecha could have really helped elevate Tariq's game if they didn't make him a snitch, and in essence, he could have finished what Kanan started, especially with him having a military background. He really could have taught Tariq a lot. But the problem with this was, he knew Tariq was someone who could never be controlled, whereas Kane was someone who could easily be mentored and nurtured. So instead, in typical power fashion, they threw us a big twist and turned someone like Mecha, who is in complete control, to someone who is now acting in desperation, thanks to Tariq exposing him. Now, what also wasn't a part of Mecha's plan was Lorenzo being released from prison, because this really was a catalyst from this control turning into a bit of desperation, because now Lorenzo was in control of the Tejadas. And although this initially pushed Monet in the direction of Mecha at first, she soon realized Mecha wasn't the same person she knew 20 plus years ago. He was a liar, a manipulator, and a criminal, basically everything Monet was. But with Lorenzo being the father to her kids, she really did have to make a choice between Lorenzo and Mecha, and she chose Lorenzo. And this is exactly what Courtney Kemp said at the end of season 2. But now that Mecha is dead, even though they could have explored his character in so many other ways, it leaves the door open for a new villain and a new connect, because Monet and Tariq are still stuck working together, and Lorenzo's made it clear he'll never live off another man, and he's someone who lives and dies by the street. But at the end of season 2, we're still left with no connect, so who could they introduce?
There's a man named Mahoney trying to move into my territory. I want him gone, but more than that, I want his fucking money. All of it.
So Mecha set the foundation for Mahoney to be introduced at some point in the future, and it does seem like he's someone who had a run-in with Mecha in the past. Now, in episode 4, he tasked Kane to raid one of his cash houses, which he did with the help of Brayden, but also killing one of his guys. Now, I don't think Mahoney is going to be too happy that his cash houses was hit, so maybe we could see him retaliate at some point. But regardless of whether they bring in Mahoney or someone else as the new villain to the Tejadas and Tariq, I really do hope they can bring something like Milan did in Power. Milan was someone who put fear into Ghost, and not many people could. He was someone who trapped Ghost in this world, as well as manipulating him in plain sight. Milan was someone who controlled every aspect of his life, business, and family, and this is the type of villain I hope Mahoney is, or whoever else they bring in, because I want to see how Tariq handles a Milan type of character. But with that being said, that's Mecha and Mahoney, so drop all your thoughts down below and let me know if you think they got rid of Mecha's character too soon, and was his potential wasted? I personally think so. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.